It's Winnie the Pooh. I love Winnie the Pooh. Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn. I use she, they pronouns, and welcome to All We Make Is Good. I'm coming to you from my home here in the Blackstone Valley of Massachusetts, where I live with my two cats, Frog and Toad, and my partner David. This is the Make Everything podcast, where I share mainly what I've been working on in terms of knitting, but I do also do other fiber crafts, including crochet. I've done sewing, embroidery, cross-stitch. I'm hopefully going to get into weaving soon. I also do digital and traditional artwork that I like to share here as well sometimes. So yeah. Actually, speaking of artwork, I do want to mention once again, I mentioned at the very end of my last episode, so if you didn't see it, I will mention here again. I am having the largest sale that I have ever run on my website, so all of my prints are 15% off now until Christmas Day. All of my original paintings are 25% off, again until Christmas Day. The original artwork does exclude the two most recent paintings that I did that were cave painting inspired. I'm a little too emotionally attached to them to put them on sale quite yet, but everything else that is on my website in terms of prints or originals is on sale. So if you feel like shopping for something for yourself or for a family member or anybody else that you know for Christmas, or whatever other holiday you celebrate, if you do gifts for this season, please check out my art. Okay. This episode today has the usual. Again, I have an update on the gifts that I have been working on for my family members, some new plans for the yarn that's in my stash that I've been talking about recently. I'll show you the project that I'm working on currently because I have gone back to being very monogamous, so I only have one in the works right now. And then I do have some acquisitions actually to share at the end. I don't usually have acquisitions, so I'm very excited to get started. So let's start with what I'm wearing. This is a newly finished object. I can't remember if I think this was done in the last episode, but now I'm wearing it today. So this is there's no pattern for this. It was just a basic drop shoulder sweater that I really wanted to knit up. And then I did the nice contrasting color exposed 3-needle bind off on the shoulders, which I really like. This is in one of my dream yarns that I had not been able to find at Michael's for like 2 years. The yarn is still in production. It still exists. But this colorway in particular, this is coconut cream. And this colorway, for whatever reason, just didn't exist for 2 years. I was able to find every other colorway that they make in this yarn. This is Caron Latte Cakes. And it's an acrylic rayon blend. It's very fuzzy. I believe that's what the rayon is all of this fuzzy goodness coming off of it. When I first finished it, I did not wash it. I wore it right away, and I was getting very, very itchy around my neck. I was getting kind of like hives or little welts on my neck. So I did put this through the wash finally. I accumulated enough laundry to finally do a load of laundry, and I have not tried it again next to skin. I've only been wearing it under long sleeve, high necked t-shirts. So it's keeping me really toasty that way, and it's kind of been my go-to comfort sweater. It's extremely soft, and I'm just enjoying wearing it so much. I've been wearing it a lot lately. Somebody's moving in their trash. Sorry, that was a little loud. Okay, that's what I'm wearing. So let's get into finished objects. And the first one is so cute. I'm so excited to share this. I decided in the end that there will not be a pattern for this, because as I was making it, There are a few things that I want to change about it, but I don't have any want or need to make a second one to make those modifications. So because I'm not going to fix it at all, this will not be a pattern because it is not exactly the way that I want it. But if you want to make this for somebody, for yourself, and you don't care if it looks exactly like this without any of the modifications that I would have made, please feel free to message me, email me, anything, put it in the comments, and I will put up the instructions that I used for this particular one. If you want on your own, you can make some modifications to make it better. I love the little tail. I had like this much of the velvet left. That was it. I did not have enough to do the little oval here on the bum to kind of close off this part in the front. So I had to do that in the white. I continued the stomach all the way down. I did the little paws. I would have done the feet a little differently. I would have figured out a better way to shape the feet. But again, this is for my less than a year old nephew, so I think he will be fine with a slightly imperfect teddy bear. So this was crocheted in Bernat Velvet. I can't remember the colorway. It might have been chocolate or something like that, but it's a nice, lovely brown Bernat Velvet. And then these accent pieces are done in Loops and Threads Woolike in the black and the white, and these were held double on a smaller crochet hook. I actually really like the seams where it looks like hand sewn together, like in the legs and stuff down here where you can see how I stitched it together. I actually really like that look. You know, for like a handmade bear to give to a child. I really like that. So I think the head turned out a little bit big, or I just didn't make the body big enough to make it more proportional, but I think it's still really, really cute. So I am very happy with this, and I cannot wait to give it to him. I still have not gotten to work on the second stuffed animal that I am making for Violet, the little rabbit, but I will be doing that as soon as I'm done with the next project that I'm going to be showing you, because I finished my sister's fingerless mitts, which were done in this yarn right here. This is Dream and Color Baby. It is a lace weight yarn. So I held this double for her fingerless mitts. Still on a US 2. And oh, I totally forgot to mention in the beginning, I have some exciting news for the end. I'll talk about that later. Well, I'll talk about it in just a few minutes actually, since it fits. So I finished her mitts and I asked her, do you want these for Christmas or do you want them now? And she said, give them to me now. So I have already delivered those to her. So I don't have them here to show you. She did ask for no convertible mitten flap. So they're just fingerless mitts for her. So they knit up very quickly. I was done in like 3 or 4 days. Actually, I think I took my time on those ones. So it might have been like 5 days. But regardless, those are done. So now I do have quite a bit left of this yarn, and I don't really know, I don't know what to do with it quite yet. I think I asked her if she wanted a hat, and I was thinking I could just make her a hat in this, but I can't remember what she told me now. So we'll see. I'll have to figure something out to do with those. And the next one is my work in progress. So those are the only finished objects that I have since the last episode. These are my mom's fingerless mitts, and I love this yarn. My mom asked for, let me roll this up. My mom asked for a looser fit, so less snug on her hand. So it's still, pick up on the hand. It still fits like very well. My mom has the smallest hands out of all of us, but this pattern, again, everyone who tries it on in my family, it fits. So she asked for a slightly looser fit, so that's what this is. I knit this on a US 3 instead of a US 2, and she does want the mitten flap, convertible mitten flap. So I am going to be knitting that in this one. This is O Wool, and this is the Classic 2-ply. I don't know, that's a very large color number. 810101. And I think because this is a lighter weight, I held this double. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place right now. Let me talk about the yarn that I used for the mitt, which is this one right here. Gorgeous ball of yarn. I love this so much. And this is Piggy Toes Superwash by Persimmon Tree Farm. Pick up on it. And the colorway, I believe, is 429. I think PT stands for Piggy Toes. Piggy Toes 429. I don't know what the colorway is. Like if it has it. Oh, I just said Piggy Toes 429. I was looking for a name of the color. Anyways. So I did hold this double because I think this is a fingering weight. This is approximately 560 yards per 4 ounces, and oh, I don't have my notebook with me, but I did convert all of these yarns to what their weight would be per 100 grams held double, and they were all like within 100 meters of each other, I think, or like 50 meters of each other. So my brother's mitt was 250 meters per 100 grams. And then my mom's, this one is slightly heavier. It's like 286 meters per 100 grams. And then this one was the lightest. Or no, this one, it went the other way. So this was 286 meters per 100 grams. This one was like 226 meters per 100 grams. So this was the most dense. So it made sense that I went up a needle size. I think it worked out well anyways. I think it gave a very nice fabric. I meant for this pattern to be fairly dense. Let me see if I can get any light on this at all. I meant for this to be very dense. I meant for it to be like as dense as you would knit a sock. And I think it came out really, really well. I really like it. So that's that. And then I am knitting the mitten flap because this one is lighter than, no, how does that work? This one is heavier than this one, so I am holding it single, and I am going down a needle size to try to attain the same kind of fabric, the same gauge. I have no idea. So this one is 181 meters per 50 grams, so that would be 3 something. 362, is that right? I have no idea. Don't quote me. So I'm going to use this for the mitten flap on a US 2. So I'm going to go back down to the smaller needle size to knit the mitten flap. I just wound this up right before I sat down to record. So I'm going to do that as soon as I am done with this episode. And that brings me to my very exciting news, which is the pattern is written up and finished. Well, once I'm done with this, I have to measure the gauge on these projects, and then I'll put that in the pattern, and then it'll be done. It'll be ready. I just need to put it into a PDF and put it on Ravelry. So that is super exciting. It is one size, and I do recommend if you want to go up a size, or like if you prefer a less snug fit, like I did with my mom's gloves here, I think that this would give you a snug fit on a larger hand if you went up to a US 3. The other note that I have for the pattern is I am a quite loose knitter, so I was able to get a nice fabric on a US 2, but I do recommend you do some kind of a little gauge swatch to figure out what needle size will give you gauge, because you could probably get away with a larger needle to knit these. other than that, I don't think I had any other notes for the pattern. There is a note in the pattern for left-handed knitters. Because I am a left-handed knitter, I had to convert the pattern to be read for a right-handed knitter, which is very confusing and time-consuming. That actually took the longest amount of time yesterday, was trying to figure out how to mirror the pattern and how to write it so that a right-handed knitter could read it and it would give you this. But I have a note in the pattern for left-handed knitters for how to convert the instructions so that you can understand what you need to do. And I think the only difference is that the increases are funky, but like the decreases you can just follow as written. And when you read the instructions for the right-handed mitt, when you knit it as a left-handed knitter, it will give you a left mitt. So that's the only the only thing there. But those notes are in the pattern, and I do have a note, like notes throughout, that'll be like, oh, this is a helpful tip. This is something that I did that helped me later. So like I didn't do here, but I have a note in the pattern that says like on this row, I put some scrap yarn through these stitches so that you can easily pick those up later to knit the mitten flap, stuff like that. So there are lots of little notes throughout. I'm really excited. This is only my third pattern that I've ever released. The first one is a paid pattern for a stuffed animal for a bear. Actually, it was what I originally used this yarn for, the velvet. It's very different. It's not teddy bear. It's like a little, like it looks like an actual bear. So that was my first pattern that I did. It's an extremely long pattern because I put pictures in for every single step. It is crochet. And then the second one is the free pattern for the bulky slipper socks using, oh my god, what was it? I think it was Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick. Very nice house slippers. That's a free pattern, and this will be my third pattern ever. So I do plan on releasing this as a paid pattern. I haven't decided yet what I want to charge for it. Maybe like $4. I don't know. I'll figure it out. You'll see it once it's up. Although hopefully by the time I've posted this, it will be up on my Ravelry page. I am going to try to figure out how to put it on other platforms as well. I will likely have it on my own personal website as well. So you can probably buy it there if Ravelry is not accessible for you. What other notes did I have here? I didn't write any notes for this episode today because I found that the last couple of times I recorded, I wrote down notes of everything that I wanted to talk about, and it made me feel like I needed to do the episode perfectly, and so I would do like 10 takes per episode for the last few of them, so I've stopped doing that, and I'm just winging it every time now. So hopefully I covered everything that I needed to say. If I missed anything, I will put everything in the description box as usual, so everything will be listed down there. But I do apologize if it makes it a little bit more scattered in these episodes now. Okay, I talked about my finished objects. I talked about my work in progress. What else did I have to talk about? Okay. Before I get into my acquisitions, I do want to talk a little bit about what I plan on using some of these yarns for, and that will lead me perfectly into my acquisitions. So the first ones that I want to talk about are these ones right here. So I did figure out what I want to do with these. This is the Malabrigo Rios, and this is that really hard for me to pronounce colorway. Kyugui, maybe? Kyugui? I don't know if that's how you say it. I hope it is. So I have one big skein, one smaller skein, and one haphazard skein. Although this looks like it has a lot more blue, so I'm not really sure if this is the same. So I have another one of these. Maybe that's the same. Maybe it's the same. This. And I also have this that I'm going to use as well together with those. And what I am going to do is Oh, this is so funny. Oh my god, I'm gonna knock my coffee right off. With the 4 skeins that I bought at the Fiber Festival of New England, so these are 100 Ravens. This is their Vanir base, which is a DK weight 100% merino wool. It's a 4-ply, and then Shirsty cat. I have shown this a couple times. I am going to use these together along with these scraps here, and I'm going to do, I want to design a circular yoke sweater with 1x1 color work, similar to, there's a pattern that I found called the Sea Glass, which reminds me of the Shifty pattern from Andrea Mowry. So that is kind of the vibe that I'm going for. I'll try to put some pictures up here so you can see which patterns I'm talking about. And I love the idea of having these as a base color, and then I'm going to gradually work through this one, move on to this one, and then slowly move my way through these, probably this way. So it'll go this one, then this one, down that way. And I'm going to do 1x1 color work with these as a base color, the 4 skeins. I'm not going to take the other 2 out because I don't want to drop them in my coffee. 1x1 color work, circular yoke sweater. And I want to also include a very long, a very open cowl neck at the same time. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm doing with this pattern, but it's sitting in my head, and it's just like I can see myself wearing it, I can see myself knitting it, and I'm so excited to cast this on. And the second that I am done with my gift knits for the year, I am going to cast this on right away. So that's the first one. I have new plans for those yarns. These over here, I wound this up. This is that lovely navy blue yarn, which is the Cascade Heritage sock yarn. And then also, this is also Cascade Heritage sock yarn. I wound these up originally to make David's hat, and then I will show you later the yarns that we picked out instead, because he did go yarn shopping with me. He picked out some new yarns that he wants to use for his hat instead. And so these, I am actually going to make a pair of socks for my dad for Christmas. I did ask him first. I asked him if he would like to wear a pair of socks, because he does wear the slipper socks that I made for him during Christmas two years ago. He wears them almost every day in the winter to keep his feet warm, so, which is like the biggest compliment I've ever received. So I thought he would like some nice woolly socks, and I think I plan on holding this double. I don't know. I don't really know. Or maybe I could like hold them together and do like a nice white contrasting heel and toe or something like that. I haven't figured out exactly how I want them to look, but I know that I want the base of it to be the dark blue. I also considered doing 2 pairs of socks, where I would do one with the navy blue as a base and then the contrasting heel and toe in the variegated, and then do the reverse on a second pair of socks. So do this as the base color and do a contrasting heel and toe in the navy with whatever's left over. I don't know if I'm gonna do 2 socks. Maybe I will, but like maybe the second one won't be a Christmas gift. It'll be after I've done this sweater. This sweater I plan on casting on for my birthday, because my birthday is December 28th, so right after Christmas, so it kind of fits perfectly. So I've never done like a birthday cast on before. I've never thought about knitting myself something for my birthday for whatever reason, but then like excuse me. Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name from Finnish Knitting Stories. Yenna? Yenna? Is that her name? Oh my god. I hope so. But she did a birthday cast on. She did her terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit. And I was like, oh my god, yeah. Why wouldn't I knit something for myself for my birthday? That sounds super nice. So this is like a dream sweater of mine that I plan on knitting. And then maybe the second pair of socks out of these will come after that in the new year. Oh, I feel like I've been doing so much talking, or talking way too fast. All right, sorry if the angle changed a little bit. My camera just died. I couldn't remember in the beginning when I started recording. I couldn't remember which battery I had in my camera. So yeah, I put the dead one in there. Anyways, moving on. I just finished talking about the new plans that I have for all of these yarns. This yarn, actually, I didn't mention. I actually want to knit myself another pair of fingerless mitts, or actually, I think what I wanted to do is knit myself a pair of like actual gloves, but instead of, here, let me put this on so I can better describe it. So it will be like this, but it will be slightly more fitted to my hand. So I start working on the fingers all on the same row. So for me, my pinky arch actually starts like down here. So I could have started this a couple of rows lower. So when I make my own pair, I want to do that and make it more customized to my own hand. Start the finger for the pinky a bit lower. And I want to knit all of the fingers up to the last knuckle. So I'll still have my fingertips open, but it'll cover more of my fingers, including my thumb. I want to knit that out a little further too. And that's my plan for the rest of this yarn. I think I can definitely get that project out of the rest of this yarn because I don't think I used much at all. So, oh, I forgot to put this back in there. So that's another idea for myself, but that'll be again after my very special sweater for my birthday. Okay, I think we have finally made it to the acquisitions. So I went back to Peter Patchis Yarns, which is like a warehouse. Not a warehouse. How would I describe it? I guess I would describe it as a warehouse in, or it's like an old mill house. And he has like one of the upper floors. Anyways, it's all coned yarn, almost all coned yarn. And he is the one that buys like the excess produced yarns from mills across the country. So, and they're really, really affordable, as I'm going to talk about when I show you these. So I went and I picked out a whole bunch of new yarns, a couple of cones and a couple of skeins, which he almost never has in like the wools. So, okay, let me just show you. All right, the first one is actually a cone that I had almost bought the last time that I went, but I didn't. And it is this beautiful coppery 100% rayon. And I think this is just like the most beautiful thing ever. It's extremely soft. I can tell it's really drapey. Like it just moves so fluidly on the cone even. And it's very fine, but like you can just tell that it would produce the most beautiful garment. So I bought that. That will go right here with the rest of my cones. I bought, oh, to go with it, I bought this cone of 100% cotton. And this feels very similar to, let me grab it, this other 100% cotton. So I don't know if they're from the same mill. This one's called Plumwood. And this one, Ooh, they are from the same mill. And this one is called Sunset. Wow, this one has the date 2009 on it. This was milled in 2009. That's really cool. And this one has the date 2017 on it. That's really, really cool. So yeah, these are exactly the same yarns, just different colorways from the same mill. That's really cool. So I thought that these would pair beautifully together to make a nice garment. Like a nice, I don't know, very summery garment. I'm picturing a lot of drape because if you've been here for a while, you know I love drape. I love it. Everything needs to drape. Okay. I got one more cone, and this one's just a tiny bit dirty. I almost wish I had taken some film when I went in this time, but I was with David, so I didn't want to just start filming while he had to stand there and watch me film a yarn store. Anyways, the second cone or the third cone that I got, the last cone, is this one right here. And this is 100% wool. And I grabbed it because it is the same as this other gigantic 100% wool cone that I have. And so I think that I could make a gorgeous, thick, 100% wool coat. And in my head, this is a lovely colorwork coat that I will felt into like a peacoat kind of thing. That's what it is in my head, at least. So this is a single ply, I believe. Single ply wool. And this is from Merida. I did Google it. This is the mill name is Merida. This is the color Magnolia that I've had for a while. And this one is Hickory from Merida as well. So again, exactly the same yarn produced by the same mill, just in different colorways. So very exciting stuff there. Oh, and now I get to show you. Fix yourself. Now I get to show you what David actually found at the shop, because I was busy looking at all the cones and he looked at one of the walls and saw these. And these are new arrivals to the shop. Look at this. The reason I am so excited for this is because these are 1.9 ounce skeins. So 2 of these would be 113 grams. And he charged us $1 a piece for 100% non-superwash wool. I about lost my mind. I went ballistic. I went crazy in the store. So David picked these out. So he went for a very natural looking color and wanted to pair it with this green to make a nice hat. He was like, oh, how many do you think I need? I probably could have gotten away with 1 color of each, but I told him to get 2 of each so that I can use the extras. So this will become David's hat. I am going to design it myself. I'm going to design the color work myself and everything. I am so excited to work with these. They are dreamily soft. I don't know what the mill was. I tried to look at the boxes that they came in and I couldn't figure it out from the label, but it said 100% CBV wool. B as in boy, V as in Victor, CBV wool. And we tried Googling what that was and we couldn't find anything. The only thing that was coming up was like Swedish military wool garments. So I don't know. But he said he has like 25,000 pounds of this, or 25,000 pounds of this stuff. He had like 20 boxes of it, full huge boxes of these skeins just out for sale. Okay, so this is David's. Let me show you the yarns that I got. I'm sure you can like feel my excitement through the camera right now. I could cry from excitement. Okay, this gorgeous, gorgeous brown. I got 4 of these to use as the base for an all-over colorwork sweater that I want to make with this yarn. So this is the base, and then I will show you all of my contrasting colors. I also got one of the natural, but I also got this navy and this rust color. Whoop, I can't even hold them all. And this rust color. And I have 2 of each of these. And then I also got 1 skein of a white, and these actually came not skeined, so this is my very bad attempt at skeining, clearly, as they came apart. Beautiful. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. That's better. I got 1 skein of this for contrast, and I also got 1 skein of this beautiful blue, which David also eyeballed from across the room. So let me put these together. Oh, let me attempt to put them together. Need 2 hands for this. Ooh, that'll be my still. Do you see how pretty this is? I'm picturing a very geometric pattern with all of these colors. So yeah, when I tell you I went ballistic, I spent $12 on this quantity of yarn. I have 14 skeins here, and I think he undercharged me. I have 14 skeins of yarn. 4 of the brown for the base, 2 of the navy, 2 of the natural, 2 of this rust, which I almost bought another full sweater's quantity worth of this, but I held off and I said if they're there, by the time I finish these projects, I'll go back for more. 1 of the white for accent, 1 of the blue, 1 of this blue for accent. I'm in yarn heaven. I'm in yarn heaven. I think I've talked about this enough because I could go on and on and on all day long over my excitement for these yarns. So anyways, those are my new acquisitions. Those are my plans for the new acquisitions. Yeah, I talked about plans for those. Yeah, okay. I try to buy yarn with like an idea of what I would make with it. Not necessarily like a pattern or anything like that, but just like an idea of how I would use it in the future. And then when I'm ready to get to it, I'll go from there. 'Cause like I knew that I needed a contrast color to this white skein that I had, the magnolia skein that I had. I knew that I needed some kind of a contrast because I wanted to do color work. I'm not a fan of like 100% beige garments for myself. I like some kind of a variation in the color. I'm totally fine with neutrals, but I like a little bit of extra outside of just like a one-tone beige garment, just for myself. So I knew I needed contrast for that. I knew when I went there the last few times that this was still there, and I knew that I really, really wanted to make something with this rayon. I am even considering I will make the garment with this and the cotton, and then I'm even considering after that, whatever's left over from this rayon, I will try to weave into a fabric and then try to sew something with 100% rayon, because I think that would be so beautiful to have a full garment in this. I think that'd be so beautiful. And then, of course, this is just another gorgeous color that I could see myself making tons and tons of things with, especially because it's 100% cotton, so I could even use up, like, once I get enough garments out of it that I'm, like, happy with, I could use the rest for all sorts of, like, home decor stuff. Because I love that color. So that is everything that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'm sorry if my excitement was a little much today, but there is a lot of excitement in my heart for all of these projects and all of these plans with all of these new yarns. I'm in love with this craft. I really am. So it makes me happy every time I get to do something crafty with all of these yarns and things like that. I don't know if I mentioned before, but I actually have plans for all of, like, the yarn tails that I've been snipping off of my project, and, like, any scraps that are, like, let me find something. Like something like this, where it's scrap, it's not anything that I would put into a project, it's not enough for me to want to try to put it into a project. All of these little bits and things that I am saving, like the last this much of the velvet that I had from the project from the bear, I want to try using them to weave like artistic tapestries or like wall hangings. I think that would be a really fun way to give like a final life to all of the little bits of yarn that I have left over. And it puts my mind at ease with, I mentioned in my last video, I have like a weird mental hang up over using two different yarns of different bases. So like if this had like even 5% nylon in it and the rest was 100% merino wool and this was 100% merino wool, I couldn't use these together because they aren't exactly the same base. And that's not something that I've gotten over yet. So this to me, with all of these little scraps, gives me a way to use up all of the little bits of yarn that I have left that I don't want to just throw away. And it gets me over using yarns of different bases together. So that's my idea. I don't have nearly enough to do an actual weaving yet. Actually, I might, but I'm not there yet. So at some point you might start seeing some like very artistic tapestry weavings from me with all of my little bits and things. So that's another idea, another plan. Okay, I think it's time for me to go get some water because, I finished my coffee. I didn't remember that I finished it. I think it's time for me to go get some water, relax for a minute before I get to cleaning up this mess that I've just created around me and getting back to my crafty projects and finishing up the pattern so I can release it before this video comes out, probably tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here, sticking with me to the end if you're still here. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as All We Make Is Good. I've gotten much better about updating my Ravelry with all of my projects that I am currently working on, and my Instagram as well. I am trying to be better about posting there as well. I have been kind of taking a bit of a break from both of them, but regardless, you can find me on those platforms as well, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye! My only pet peeve about mugs is I'm a left-handed person, and mugs are designed for right-handed people so that you can see the graphic when you hold it in your right hand. But for left-handed people, everyone else gets to see the graphic. So I've had to teach myself to hold it in my right hand so I can see the graphic when I drink.